This tutorial is going to be all about using the Easy Bow Maker. And of course, I included the Easy Bow Maker in that link below. We're going to be using my ribbon bundle. And this one, I named it Leopard Christmas. And you're going to see why. But the next few things I'm going to talk about are truly something that you have to figure out what you like best. There's different ways to secure your ribbon, and it can be, you might use zip ties, you might use floral wire, which this is a paddle floral wire in 22 gauge. You might use pipe cleaners, and if you're like me, sometimes you use a combination of two at the same time. Like if I use a zip tie, I'm also going to use floral wire or a pipe cleaner. My personal favorite is the paddle wire. You can get these in just single strips, like they come in a straight strip, I think like 20 inches long or something like that. I like to be able to have select my size because sometimes I'm going to make a ribbon that goes to my mailbox, and that's going to be a little bit wider, or on a lamppost, a lantern. So I like to have the flexibility of measuring out how long. You're also going to want some really great scissors. These are my Fisker scissors. I've had these for 7 years. They have never been sharpened, and they are my favorite, absolute favorite. Brenda, how the heck are you? Teresa, good morning. Good morning. It's almost noon here in Illinois. Nope, I take that back. It is after 12. All right, so all of these items can be found in the link below, pipe cleaners. You can find pipe cleaners, you can find the Easy Bow Maker. These three, I will give you my link to Amazon, where you can get these 3 items from Amazon. And let's get started making a bow. Ribbon bundle comes with all 4 of these ribbon. This is a 25 yard of 7/8 inch. Then you also get 2 2.5 inch ribbon, and you get a 1.5 inch ribbon. This is so fun. So let's get started. I always start my bows with the largest ribbon first. So if I had a 4-inch ribbon, I would put the 4-inch on bottom. But in this case, I'm going to use a 2.5 inch. So we know we're not going to use these right now. But now, how do I decide which one to start with? That's a great question. So you will want to start with the one that is the least expensive. So if this one cost me $8 and this one cost me $10, I want this one to pop a little bit more. So I'm going to put it a little bit higher in the hierarchy of making my bow. So also design wise, do you want this design to shine more than this design? Then we're going to put this one a little bit higher. This would then become like an accent in here. So I'm actually going to start with the black and red. I love the colors and I love it, but I don't want it to be like the main character of my bow. So I'm going to take that off. Of course, all of the ribbon is wired, and all of the ribbon that, this particular roll of ribbon is 10 yards. We do have a 25 yard roll of ribbon we're going to be using, but this one is 10 yards. So now I get to decide, do I want it to have ribbon tails flowing down from the bottom of it, or do I want it to be just a round bow? So example being, let me show you, do I want it to be a round bow like this, or do I want it to have long flowy tails? And I have one of those too. Let me see if I can easily snatch it, or if I have it. Okay, this one's easy to get. Or do I want one that has long flowy tails, and I can make my tails as long as I want? So, what kind of shape do I want? What do I want it to look like at the end? And a lot of times that's going to depend on what we're attaching it to. The really awesome thing is if you start out with that round bow, you can always add tails to it later on. Vanessa, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Are you working today, girl? Let me move that just a smidge more. Okay, perfect. All right, so for this particular bow, we're not going, now you know what, we are gonna make ribbon tails. We're gonna make some tails. So I'm gonna take my measure and I'm gonna measure out to about 16 inches. And that's going to be my ribbon tail. So it's gonna be 16 inches long here. As I go down on my Easy Bow Maker, and of course, I put some of these Easy Bow Makers in that link down below. If you don't have you one yet, you know where you can get it. I'm going to come out to the 6-inch mark, and I'm going to make a loop. So as I come out here, I'm going to measure my ribbon out here. I'm not smashing it down, y'all. I want the volume in here. So right now I can stick my hand in there. I want to be able to maintain that loop. And as I'm going down between the pegs, I'm going to give it a quick twist. And now it's nice and tight in there. I'm going to repeat that on the other side, coming out to that 6-inch mark. Again, I'm not going to squish it down. I'm going to leave it fluffy and give it a little twist. And now this measures 6 inches on this side, 6 inches on that side. Depending on how big I want my bow, I can continue on and do 2 more loops. I can do 3 more loops, just depending on how big you want your bow. For this particular one, I'm actually going to make it a little large. We're going to go 6-inch again. So I'm just going to come out to the same spot, and we're going to do that 3 times on each side. 3 times on each side. All right. And 3. Now that I am finished with the 3 on each side, I'm going to kind of spread them out because this is going to be kind of rounded at the top. So, and then I'm going to bring this loop and measure it just as long as my previous loop, maybe even make it a little longer if I want to have some symmetrical difference there between it. And sometimes I'll do that. I'll make it longer on one side. The next ribbon that we're going to use is this 2.5-inch Christmas trees, and it's got the leopard print. It's got polka dots and stripes. And again, this is wired as well. And I'm just going to open up our ribbon. And this time we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to place that spool on the spool holder. I'm going to come down here and measure it out as long as my previous tails. I'm going to come down in between the pegs and give it a twist, bringing this straight down. So my tails are always going to be facing my belly here. Always. Now, but this time, I'm not going to come out to the 6-inch mark. I'm going to come out to that 5-inch mark. And I don't know how well you can see it on the video, but if you can't see it, if it's an obstacle, you can just do like a roundabout. That's about 1 inch in, and give it a twist and push down. Key thing is make sure that you're twisting it and make sure you push it nice and secure down in between those pegs. These pegs should not be loose. If they are, hammer those suckers in. I'm going to repeat that again on this side, come out to about the 5-inch mark, give it a twist. And I'm going to do that actually twice. So this layer is going to have 2 loops. 2 loops on each side. 1 and 2. Then on the last loop, instead of twisting, I'm just going to push that all the way down in there. And I'm going to pull that out to the length of my previous. Now, this one does have a pattern on it. I'm not going to discuss on this video how to position your ribbon so that the trees are both going the same direction. I promise you though, I have never had a customer go, oh, I'm not taking that wreath. The trees are upside down on that side. No, because it's the overall experience here, right? This is an experience. This is just a wow factor to add to any, wherever you're going to place it, whether it be on a lamppost, whether it be on a lantern, a mailbox, Christmas tree topper. It is a statement. All right, let's go to that 1.5-inch ribbon that is in this. So all of these are in that bundle. in that bundle that I talked about, you get all 4 of these together. So we're going to use this leopard print, and look at the gold trim on it. This one definitely screams holiday to me. I love it. I love it. And look how it ties in nicely with this. All right. Let's place that on our spool. And again, going to bring that tail down, and you can stagger the length of your tails. So this one, I'm actually going to stagger it a little bit and bring it up about 1.5 inches. Not make it quite as long. Give it a twist and go down in there. And now, guess what? I'm going to come out to the 4-inch mark. I'm going to come in about 1 inch, give it a twist, push it in. This time, it's going to have, let's see, do I want to do 2 loops on each side or 3 loops? I'm going to bring this a little closer to me. And push, push, push. Make a loop, twist. I feel like I still got 1 more ribbon to go. Let's do actually, I'm going to do 1 more loop. I'm going to do 3 loops of this one. So 3 loops, 2 loops, 3 loops, and then our final ribbon, we're going to do, all right, let me back up. I have 3 loops on one side, 2 loops on the second ribbon, 3 loops. On the final ribbon, we're going to have 2 loops on each side and 1 in the center. How fun is that? We're going to change it up a little bit. All right, so again, I'm going to measure this out. I'm going to bring this one up just a little bit shorter. And there we go. You're just joining. I did pin a link down below where you can go get all of this ribbon, including the Easy Bow Maker. You can also find pipe cleaners there. And I will also include a link to my Amazon affiliate link on where you can get the paddle wire and zip ties if you would like, if anybody wants it. All right, this last one is going to be my favorite. It really, that nice contrast already. You can see how all of that's going to blend together. So this one, I'm going to make, actually, I'm going to make it a little bit longer because we're going to curl it when we're done. We're going to curl the ends, so I want some extra ribbon. So this time we're going to go extra. I'm going to make it a little bit longer. Go down in the center, twist. We're going to do 2 loops on each side. Each loop is going to be a little bit shorter than the one before. And 2 loops on each side. Dun, 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 dun. There are some people that make some absolutely beautiful handmade bows. I am not one of those people, but someday maybe I'll practice some more. Now I'm going to do a 5th loop. So I have a loop, a loop, a loop, a loop. The 5th loop is only going to be about 1 inch tall. What that will do is allow us to camouflage or hide whatever we use to tie off our bow with. So by adding that 5th loop, it's going to be a short loop. And this will then be able to be positioned to hide our pipe cleaner or zip tie or floral wire or whatever we used to tie off our bow. And of course, it's going to come out the same side as our first loop. So don't worry about that. I'm going to cut it extra long. And there we go. This is a 25-yard roll, and of course, this is going to last for many, many bows ahead. Not only great for the holidays, but also great for Valentine's Day, summer, patriotic, you name it, farmhouse. I love working with the 7/8 inch, and I love the 25 yards. All right, so for this one, because I'll show you what it looks like from that view. Let me move this ribbon out of my way so it quits rolling. So you see how it's all stacked here. So I'm actually going to take a zip tie and I'm going to go underneath the first layer And I've got it pushed down kind of tight. So I'm going to have to lift up a little bit and bring it up. And then I'm going to bring that zip tie right in between those two pegs. There we go. So I'm going to bring that in between there. I'm going to bring one side on the top and bring the other side up in between my tails and zip that together. I'm going to loosely zip it together, and I want to stress the loosely because before I tighten it down, I want to make sure I got several things that I want to check first. All right, that's better. That placement's better. So I'm going to lift it all the way up. As I'm coming off, I'm kind of tightening that zip tie a little bit more, but not tight, tight. Don't do it tight, tight yet. So as I'm doing that, can you see that this ribbon kind of turned a little bit? Kind of turned. I don't know where this little accent came from today, but it's kind of cute. So I just want to make sure that all of my ribbon is facing the right direction. Nothing got twisted up in there. And make sure all of my tails are facing the right direction and placed correctly. And we'll spread them out more evenly once we get this tightened down. I'm going to bring that zip tie to the back side, tighten it. But before I tighten it completely, this is where I add additional wire or a pipe cleaner or whatever. So, or you can add another zip tie. But I'm going to run that right underneath that zip tie. And now I have a way to attach it to my lantern or my lamppost or my Christmas tree or whatever it is that I want to attach it to. So I added that wire in there before I tighten this down. Let's tighten it all the way down. And it looks good. Zoom, zoom, zoom. There we go. I am going to take some wire cutters and just snip that off, that excess piece. Now I have that nice long wire attached. Let's turn it over and let's see what that Easy Bow Maker did for us. So again, I want this to kind of be a round shape. So I'm going to move my ribbon around a little bit and be the boss of your ribbon. Own the ribbon. Don't be afraid to give it a twist, a tug, a pinch here and there. If you have that zip tie or whatever you secured it with tight, you should be able to pull and twist and tug on your ribbon. If it's super loose, then go back and tighten it up so that you can give it twist, because what that will do is it helps it from getting all bunched up there in the center. You want that beautiful voluptuous wreath or bow to place on wherever it's going. Tell me in the comments where all do you place a bow, or where could you place a bow at? I would love to hear in the comments. Tell me where you would place a bow. Well, I won't even say the obvious, whether it's obvious or not. And look, while I'm waiting for you to comment, there's that short little loop, and see how it makes a little tiny loop, but it's covering up my zip tie. So my zip tie is no longer visible. So now I curled that up, and now I'm taking the inner piece and I'm just going to pull that down, and look at that nice, beautiful spiral. Nice, pretty spiral coming off of that. Now, of course, if you want, you can go back and you can dovetail the ends. You can curl them under. You can cut them at a slant. And some ribbon does not do well if it may cut and start to fray. So you may want to consider the type of ribbon that you're working with. Most woven ribbon will fray easily, but the royal burlap, the type of ribbon that I'm using right now, all of this ribbon holds up super well and does not fray easily at all. So I have these slanted this way. So this end, I'm going to go the opposite way. and slant. It starts with sharp scissors, and no one's allowed to touch my fabric scissors. Look at how gorgeous this bow just turned out. I went super slow so that I could record this in a way that hopefully you guys will find helpful and maybe picked up a tips or tricks here or there. Easy Bow Maker is my friend. And of course, I also try to take the headache out by putting together ribbon bundles like this one. This ribbon bundle all comes in one grouping, or if you want to get each end of. All right, we now have a nice little tutorial for a holiday bow. As always, I love to see when you guys make them too. So be sure and tag me in a bow. Post your picture of your finished bows because I would love to see them. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday Eve, right? Yes. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm going to go grab some lunch. It's my lunch hour too. Have a great day, y'all. Good to see you.